Oh, hi Sagittarius, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot readings from the heart. So we're going to do your 2 weekly reading, 15th through to the 31st of May 2020. For the reading we're using the Gilded Tarot. It's a new deck actually, I only received this about an hour ago. Chiara Marchetti and Barbara Moore, it's really lovely. And Spiritual Advice, the Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland. If we need any clarifiers, we use the Radiant Rider deck, Radiant Rider Weight tarot in a tin. Okay, for the reading we're doing a 7 area reading this week. We're looking at for the next 2 weeks, the next 2 weeks as a whole, something unexpected that might arise during those 2 weeks, how to stay grounded and balanced, an important emotion that you may feel over the next 2 weeks, something that will inspire you, how your spirit guides or what advice your spirit guides have for you, and finally how to best support yourself over the next couple of weeks. Okay, with that being said, let's get on with shuffling the cards. So let's have a quick look at what the week is, what the next 2 weeks are as a whole for you Sagittarius. It's about the Knight of Wands. So there might be something about movement here. Knight of Wands is movement. It's this can be house moves, it can be job moves, it can be a change, it might be a sudden change, it may be some information that's coming to you as well with the Knight of Wands over the next couple of weeks. Something unexpected. This could also, and actually funnily enough Sagittarius, that's you, isn't it? Of course, that's your court card. Knight of Wands is a Sagittarius. So this could be about you guys moving. So you seem to be Sagittarius on a quest over the next couple of weeks. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's a move, you know, like a physical move. It might be for some of you guys. It may be that you're moving from, one place to the other or one job to the other. But it could also be perhaps for Sagittarius over the next couple of weeks that this is more about a spiritual move or a spiritual leap, or it could be that you're advancing spiritually in a particular direction, or you're moving from one phase to the other. May also be the Knight of Wands energy over the next couple of weeks is about you guys exploring something. Remember Sagittarians or Sagittarius people are the explorers of the zodiac, so this may be something about you exploring something new over the next few weeks or the next couple of weeks, 15th to the 31st of May. Something unexpected that might arise. The Sun, so that's interesting. The Sun could be a Leo, but it could also really with the Sun energy, this is something good. This is something that would make you feel happy. This is something that would make you feel, positive and optimistic. The sun rises. There's something good here. There's something, inspiring with the Sun energy showing here. There's something that's going to make you feel good and happy and joyful and satisfied and all of that type of thing with the Sun energy. For some of you guys, it might even be pregnancy, for example, with the Sun energy. For some of you guys, it could be a new relationship. For some of you guys, with that Knight of Wands being the moving card, it could be something like a new job. Whatever it is, we're seeing something coming to fruition that's actually quite positive and probably something that you've really always wanted. How can you stay grounded and balanced? The Two of Cups is how you stay. So this may involve how you stay grounded and balanced. Might be about sharing your feelings with somebody else here. For some of you guys, it will be a relationship, somebody that you trust, somebody that you have a very strong connection to, in which this person may help you to stay grounded and balanced. But other than that, with the Two of Cups, really how you can stay grounded and balanced is really by kind of just connecting with somebody else or just sharing your feelings with another person here with the Two of Cups energy showing here. Let's have a look at how an important emotion that you'll feel over the next couple of weeks. The Five of Cups. Now that's interesting. The Five of Cups, when that card shows up, it's a card about sadness and it's feeling a sense of regret and loss. But the thing with the Five of Cups is that this person, the thing with the Five of Cups, often the explanation with the Five of Cups Sagittarians is that we face a loss, we endure the loss, we feel the sadness, the regret, but then the Two Cups behind him are saying, but tomorrow is another day and things are, there's still hope behind him, that type of thing. Sometimes with the Five of Cups, you do mourn something and then you say, okay, I've mourned it now and I'm going to kind of turn away. But I would often read that with that Five of Cups as a reversal. So if that's reversed, I know that somebody has faced a loss, now they're getting over it and they're moving on. The thing with me, how I see the Five of Cups is you're still stuck in it. So it may be there's something here that there's some form of grief or something that you need to face up to perhaps. That's how I would probably read that. Because I think that in terms of an emotion that is important for you to feel, well, that grief as well as anything else is just as important for anyone to feel, especially if with the Five of Cups energy with grief you've been suppressing it, or you've been ignoring your feelings, or you've been pretending that something doesn't exist. That then can turn often. I'm not a psychologist, but from what I understand of depression, it's just internalized. It's internalized anger. So sometimes when we're suppressing things, we're doing a lot of internal damage. So I actually feel with the Five of Cups, it's actually a really important, emotion to feel, because it means that you're really kind of just letting that grief out, and you're acknowledging that you feel that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that might be something that's really important for you to feel over the next couple of weeks. Something that will inspire you. Your children, the Six of Cups. So if you've got kids, your children, if you've got younger siblings, maybe it's your younger siblings that will inspire you. But the Six of Cups could also be that you're inspired perhaps by something to do with the past, something to do with your childhood, something to do with the way that you were brought up. Perhaps there's somebody in your family, a really close, sibling, you've got a close relationship with someone that will inspire you over the next couple of weeks. What does your spirit guides advise you of over the next couple of weeks? They're advising you, the advice is the Eight of Swords energy. I feel that here I think the advice is that you're protected though. The Eight of Swords I also see as a card of protection as well, okay? Sometimes when you get the Eight of Swords, the swords around this woman are words, or people that are keeping her bound, or people's ideas, or the way that they see things, or the information, or just in a way this is very similar to a Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords is information and people's words bringing somebody down and keeping someone down. The Eight of Swords can be that as well. This can be people's words are keeping you down, or keeping you where you are, or this can be negative thoughts. But the advice is the Eight of Swords for you. And, how do we look at, because when you give somebody advice, you want the advice to be quite positive. Now, the Eight of Swords isn't reversed, so it's not about kind of releasing yourself from negative thoughts, or releasing yourself from, what you would consider to be maybe a prison, or releasing fears. Is the Eight of Swords in the reverse. The Eight of Swords in the upright is about mental fears, and it's about anxieties and worries and that type of thing. But I think the Eight of Swords, just trying to think about how we can advise someone to do the Eight of Swords. I'm not going to read it in the way about releasing stuff, because it's not reversed. So I would probably not explain. I just wouldn't explain it like that. I'm just one of those people that if it's reversed, I'm going to advise you that you can release something that's worrying you, or you can release something that's making you feel kind of anxious, or making you feel powerlessness. But in the upright, she's not releasing. I'm just going to have a look at her face here. The advice is the Eight of Swords showing here. I think the advice is to ignore. Sounds weird, but look, she's not even seeing these swords around her. She may know that they're there, but she chooses not to look at them. So actually, I think that the advice is don't focus on the negativity. If the negativity is these swords, and we can see actually that all of these swords are down. Can you see how they're all facing downwards? The Ace of Swords is usually upwards to actually indicate things like truth and justice and honesty and authenticity. In the reverse, the Ace of Swords are lies and deception. And it may be for some of you guys, you've got a lot of liars around you. You've got people around you who are willing to deceive you and make you feel powerless. Because you've got all these swords, if you look at them, they're all stuck in the ground. And they're actually eight times the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Which means for me, it has, because 8 represents the word strength, it means that a lot of people's opinions may have you feeling powerless because your hands are bound. So a lot of people's words around you may have you feeling bound. But look at the thing across her eyes. She's not actually seeing those things. So I actually think that it's saying to you, the advice from Spirit is if people are saying stuff about you, Sagittarius, or if people are lying about you, or they're saying stuff about you that's making you feel depressed, anxious, powerless, and you're feeling unable to fight back perhaps because your hands are bound on this card here. So you may be feeling the inability to fight back, the inability to really kind of, stand up for yourself. Your mouth isn't bound, but still you don't speak, you don't scream out. So I'm just getting the impression with 8 swords, the number 8 being the card of strength as well, because it's ruled by the strength card. You've got some very strong communication here, but those 8 swords are all in the reverse. They're all in the ground, suggesting the reversal of the 8 of swords. So the reversal of the swords is, it's lies, basically. So, but she's not looking at them. So I would say, I would probably look at this and think that the universe was probably saying to you, advising you, the angels, the spirit guides are advising you, don't focus on people's lies. Just go inward, you know. Don't focus on people who probably are trying to keep you bound, or they're trying to ensure that you stay where you are. Or maybe these people are trying to keep you powerless. You know, these people really want to keep you in a place where you don't fight back, where you have no power, where you have no autonomy. Well, with the blindfold, I think that the advice is not to focus on this. Maybe because you've got the blindfold on, all you can do at the moment is focus on your inner strength. And finally, how can you best support yourself over the next couple of weeks? The King of Wands energy. Well, this could be a person who could help you perhaps over the next couple of weeks. But I think how you can best support, I mean, the King of Wands is an energy, represents somebody who is charismatic, confident, ambitious. This person is very inspirational. This person is, it takes inspired action. And I actually feel that the best way that you can support yourself over the next couple of weeks, unless it's a person here, can certainly also represent you. I think the best thing for you to do is to take inspired action with the King of Wands energy showing here as well. As an energy, that's the best way that you can support yourself, because even though we can see the important emotion for you to feel here is the Five of Cups, where we can see that maybe it's important for you to grieve over the loss of something, to let something out of your system here. I think after that, the best way that you can support yourself after that is really to then start taking some action in the direction of your desires with this King of Wands. So it's not enough just to speak, you know, it's time to act. That's the King of Wands energy there. So it's not enough just to speak, it's time to act. After you've grieved, or after you've kind of got something off your chest or out of your system here, Sagittarius, I really think it's a good time to start taking some really kind of important, you know, action. So literally to start, you know, taking charge. Start taking charge, start taking action, start taking charge of your life. And I do feel that this kind of coincides with this, where Spirit is saying that maybe in order to do this, you can't be focusing on what people are saying about you. You really can't, you know, because these swords are designed to keep you enslaved. They're designed to keep you in a cage and keep you bound and keep you fearful. But with the blindfold on, you've just got to take a risk, and you can't be focusing on those swords there. You know, it's time to take action in the area of your desires in the next couple of weeks, Sagittarius. Let's have a quick look at what the spiritual advice is for Sagittarius over the next couple of weeks. What is the spiritual advice you have for Sagittarius, please, over the next couple of weeks in 2 cards? What's the spiritual advice that you have for Sagittarius? Spiritual advice is, Master. So the Master card is, I think this is the Devil card. Yeah, the Devil is number 15. So the ones in black represent the major arcanas. So that's, it's time for you to master something within your life, funnily enough here. Yeah, there you go, the darkest fears. It's time for you to master your darkest fears. And that's what it's saying, I think, with the Eight of Swords energy showing there as well. That even though I didn't explain that card, Sagittarius, in the way that it would have been explained as a reversal, which is letting go of your fears and coming out of the darkness and releasing yourself from a prison, probably of your own making. I think in the upright, this is probably to do with other people and their thoughts, or what they're saying. I mean, this could certainly be, you know, if this isn't what other people are doing to you, then this is definitely obviously what you're doing to yourself, because the Eight of Swords is all about allowing ourselves, when we allow ourselves to be imprisoned and we allow ourselves to kind of to give in to our fears. You know, we're very kind of, you know, there's no action with this card. Our hands are bound. She doesn't feel that she can get out of this prison that she's in. But I feel with the blindfold on, it's saying that maybe, you know, if this isn't other people, then it may simply be a case of that the advice from Spirit is don't focus on the fears, you know, don't focus on your fears here. So the advice may be don't focus on your fears, because you're going to have to learn how to master them. All right, if the best way to support yourself is to take inspired action over the next couple of weeks, then really in order to do that, you have to master the fear. Because the only way that anything ever works out in life, when you're actually kind of taking this divinely inspired action in the direction of your desires, is when it's coming from a place of purity and cleanliness, and there's no blockages there. If you're taking action as a result of a fear, then that action that you take probably results in something that's not so great. So really, I think that what the universe is trying to say to you is that, and I mean, I certainly feel that this is, you know, the next 2 weeks, Sagittarius, being that you are the Knight of Wands, I do feel that you're on a journey over the next 2 weeks. I think that you are exploring some other territory, whether this be a physical territory or whether this be something to do with yourself, your mind, your soul, that type of thing. I feel that with the sun energy, something unexpected that may arise is something really good, something that comes to fruition, something really positive with the sun energy, whatever that might be for you. Something to do with a new beginning, new life, something new emerging here that's positive. If you need to remain grounded, to stay grounded and balanced, how do you do that? The Two of Cups, it's all about trying to engage. Try and engage with others or somebody who's very close to you. Maybe there's a need to kind of share your feelings with somebody here. Talk about stuff, I think, with this Two of Cups energy showing here. I do feel that an important emotion that you need to feel over the next couple of weeks with the Five of Cups is that you need to kind of let go of some grief or let go of something that you've been holding on to. That's probably some form of a loss or something that didn't happen or something that went wrong. You've been holding on to it. You've been suppressing tears or suppressing the loss of it. It's time to really let that out. It's really important that you do that, because if you hold on to whatever that Five of Cups is, how are you going to master your darkest fears so that you can take divinely inspired action in the area of your desires? Because you've still got a blockage there. So I can understand why the universe would say an important emotion for you to feel, or that you will feel, is grief. Because once you've let out some form of loss, anger or grief, that's when it becomes easier to master your darkest fears here. And if you can master those, having gotten rid of whatever that is, when you decide to take divinely inspired action, it's coming from a place of clarity and truth and happiness, which just means that whatever it is that you're looking to manifest going forward, Sagittarius, it means that it has the potential to sustain and it has longevity. Things that are manifested in fear never last very long, all right? Because either you let go of it or end it, or the universe does, one of the two. So it's time to start manifesting in happiness and joy and clarity rather than darkness and fear. All right, that is your reading, Sagittarius. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. If you'd like to order a reading, you can click on the link in the comments section or the end screen. Take care. Bye-bye.